Welcome, jesters. Gonna try to wing this one. It seems Ben Shapiro is getting himself into a little bit of trouble with some comments about retirement. Basically, what he said was something along the lines of nobody should be retiring at 65 unless you have a medical condition or something like that. I don't know if people are purposely misunderstanding him or whether he's having a rare moment of inartful speech, but let's just talk about this for a second. As to whether or not people should be able to retire at 65, I think you should be able to retire at whatever age you can provide for yourself for the rest of your life. There's a number of vehicles to do this that are available to everybody, IRAs, annuities, savings, investments, things like that. So if you can amass the capital over your lifetime in your career to where you can survive, live, thrive, whatever you want at 65, at 60, at 50, at 45, whatever, then so be it. Retire whenever you want. If you don't have it at 65, maybe for whatever reasons, you have to work until you're 70 and then you can retire. Okay. That's actually how it should work. I don't know why, we do know why 65 is some magical retirement age, but let's set that aside for a second. But you should be able to retire, and you should plan to retire whenever you want. And this is something that we should be encouraging young people, even today, to plan for their future. I know I got these talks when I was a kid, when I was just starting in the workforce, both from my family and from employers, because it's the right thing to do, and it worked. Right now, I'm not really retired. I'm only working part-time. I'm going on road trips to theme parks, and I have no problem doing this, even though I'm really nowhere near the retirement age, whatever that might be. So I don't know. I think people might be misunderstanding him on this particular point. Then there's also the notion that maybe people should be working as long as they're productive. Maybe they should be contributing members to society as long as they are productive. And given advances in medical technology and everything like that, people can work past 65. And if you have the capability to do so, maybe you should. Maybe 65, I know the magical age of 65, we'll get to that, is not so specific. Maybe it should be a ratio of life expectancy or something like that. How about that? I will probably work in some capacity past 65 simply because I want something to do. I thought about this, and it's like I thought, what if I won the lotto? I don't know. I would probably still want to work because you get lost, intellectually, professionally, and even if I won hundreds of millions of dollars in lotto, I'd still want to do something productive, unless this becomes productive, and maybe I'll just keep doing this. But I think people might be slightly misunderstanding him. But either way, this does allow me to bring up something that I've been saying for a long time. Go back, well, they're deleted now, like on Facebook or whatever. But as for Social Security, which is why we have a 65-year-old retirement age. By the way, it was just made up out of thin air. Not really out of thin air. It was based on the statistics of the time. The reason the Democrats that created Social Security chose 65 as a retirement age is because the life expectancy at the time was only 67. So they needed a giant government program to collect a lot of taxes that they could spend, but they were doing their best to make sure they would never actually have to pay it out, which is why they planned for only 2 years of benefits for the average person, even after paying into it for their entire lifetime. So yes, Social Security was a scam from the beginning. It is a Ponzi scheme from the beginning. Fortunately, our politicians, the Democrats, have not been smart enough to keep the scam going, which is why we are in the position we are today. Instead of the 5 to 6% of the population that should be eligible for Social Security under the original math that FDR put into place, today upwards of 20% of the politicians of the population is eligible or collecting Social Security. That is why it is untenable. That is why it is losing money, and that is why it will eventually go broke. There probably is no hope for it. Every Ponzi scheme eventually fails, and Social Security, it is a Ponzi scheme. It is theft. It is a drag on the economy, because no matter how you look at it, no matter what method or calculation you use, every dollar that you put into Social Security is a negative return. Even if you took every dollar that you are forced to contribute to Social Security and put it in the most basic index fund, you will come out ahead. And if something tragic happens and you expire before you are able to collect, well, you will have something to leave to whoever you choose. Not the case with Social Security. You can pay into it your entire life, and if something tragic happens when you are 63, you and your family are out that money. It's gone. You paid in and you get nothing back. It is a negative return for nearly everybody, unless you manage to only work a few years and then start collecting for, and then live an additional 40 or 50 years and start collecting. So, yes. Oh, and by the way, let's also be very clear about something. Social Security is welfare. It is not an investment. It is not your money. You do not have an account. It is welfare. It is old age welfare. And yes, I absolutely will be applying and collecting my welfare. I paid into it, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I collect more than I put into it, because the more people that do that, the more people that stay healthy enough to do that, the faster we can collapse the system for our children. So this is a case where I really think the Republicans, I really wish they would play the game a little bit better and call the Democrats' bluff. I think they should introduce something like the Social Security, the FDR Social Security Original Reconstruction Act, or something like that, that basically recasts Social Security using the same formulas with current year numbers that the Democrats used to create Social Security in the past, which would basically mean only that 5% of the population would be eligible, because it would take life expectancy into account and would simply adjust everything up, based on that. And what are the Democrats going to do? Are they going to complain about FDR? Are they going to say that FDR had it wrong? Are they going to say that the Democrats in the 1930s, the New Deal Democrats, are they going to actually say that they got it wrong? I mean, all we're doing is bringing FDR's legacy into current year. What is wrong with that? That's what I think they should do. So, Ben Shapiro, to be honest, what he said, I think I understood what he meant, and I know we really need to sort of separate what people say versus what they mean, but in this particular case, I think I know what he meant. People should not be simply defaulting to retiring at 65. I think people should be able to retire at whatever age that they can support themselves for the rest of their lives. And if we didn't have Social Security, if we did not have the burden of Social Security, then I think people would, in many ways, be able to retire even earlier than 65. Or maybe they have to work until 70. So, yeah, 65 is not a magic number. It's simply something invented by the politicians in order to extract wealth and then not have to pay it out. And if you want to retire early, make good investments. If you want to keep working past 65 because you think that'll be good for your mental health, which probably will be in my case, then you should be able to. So don't be so reactionary. Yes, the real enemy is actually Social Security. And I think we can fix that by re-implementing FDR's original vision for Social Security, which is 5% of the population. We are wealthy enough as a country to provide that particular welfare benefit. And it is welfare. I'm right.